Here's a wonderful display of just how capable the XGIMI Halo Plus is compared to the WeMax Advanced Go 300. Both projectors are portable, both feature a battery source of power that can be taken anywhere, set up anywhere. At least that's what they're advertised as. The difference is in their capability and ease of use. Uh, for example, the XGIMI Halo Plus, for example, is doing a really good job displaying both the white background as well as the wolf that is sitting inside of the snow. Sorry, let me focus my camera a little bit better. If you see any lines going up and down the screen, I just want you to know that is from the camera itself, not the actual image that you see in front of your eyes. But I just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea of the difference in capabilities between the two projectors, um, and how I'm going to show you the XGIMI Halo Plus versus the WeMax Advanced Go 300, which is one giant blurry white mess. Everything is blown out. You can barely see the wolf. If it wasn't for the head, you would be pretty much lost. And it does a really bad job at displaying contrast and color accuracy. This is in the movie format under movie output, meaning that it lowers the amount of blown out colors that you would get, and it's a little bit more color accurate compared to the standard office like display that you would usually see outside the box, right outside the box. Again, XGIMI Halo Plus does a wonderful job displaying color and giving you that contrast between the animal and the snow versus the WeMax Advanced Go 300. Here's another representation where you can see a little bit better the wolf standing up with the white background. You see the dark shadow. Does a really good job of making the contrast pop. With that XGIMI Halo Plus versus the WeMax Advanced Go 300, where the wolf's pretty much half of his body is completely blown out, as well as the nose area, the cheek, and the definition in the snow is almost completely gone. Outside of the shadow area, the rest of the definition in the background is pretty much gone. You would just think this is one whole background instead of a ridge, which the wolf is standing on with a background of more snow in the back, where you can clearly see defined in the XGIMI Halo Plus. And here we are again with the XGIMI Halo Plus. Doing a really good job again at separating the animal from the foreground as well as the actual front of the image. The little specks of color for whatever fruits or nuts this little animal is eating. Really pops, especially in the snow, and they're very color accurate. They're more of like a salmon color, whereas the WeMax Advanced Go completely blows out the background. In fact, it even blends in with half of the top of the animal, and these little specks of the fruit that the animal is eating are more of like a bland orange, just completely lackluster in the color. And again, a lot of the background detail is completely gone. You can see a lot of detail here. You can see no detail here. In terms of color accuracy, in terms of contrast, in terms of light output, the ability for the projector to put out really good color brightness, this fails. The XGIMI Halo Plus excels, especially when you consider that both of these projectors I picked up for under $750. And I feel by this point I've kind of driven this point home enough, but I still wanted to point out again, A lot of detail, and even though it's starting to lose some detail here because this contrast ratio is not really that great, it's not cinema level or ultra short throw 2000 lumens plus move dedicated movie theater projector quite contrast level there yet, but it still does a good job overall. You can see the reproduction of light, the shadows, the really good detail in the wolf, the fur, the individual pop, except for the slight little loss of contrast right there where the light is coming in and hitting the fur. Where if we go over to the WeMax Go, here we have completely washed out this whole area as opposed to just this little corner. And while it does do a good job at reproducing the background, it is a little dull. It is missing a lot of color right here compared to here. You see how it's a uh, much lighter blue, whereas this is a much darker blue. So there's a lot more shadow in the background, which actually dulls up the actual color and the detail that is also supposed to be displaying in the back. I realize this is supposed to be blurry, kind of like a portrait mode shot, but when you compare it to this, you can see a lot more here. Again, the WeMax Go simply cannot match this level of color reproduction and brightness. And here for the final image comparison in terms of white and white reproduction. You can see very good detail, very good separation between the animal and the background. You can see a lot of the detail that is still on the floor, where the snow is, where the tracks are, the rocks, really good detail in the back as well. The XGIMI just does a really, really good job at reproducing the color and kind of what the cinematographer intended to do so. Whereas we go on the WeMax Advanced Go, again, you can see the blown out portion of the animal, the lack of detail on the back or on the ground, and how the rock is a little more dull and more unicolor. Whereas the XGIMI does a good job of reproducing the white and the dark parts of the rock and making the difference of color in the rock itself pop a lot more. This is more dull, a lot more color here. Here's another good image that I think does a good job at distinguishing the difference in the picture quality between the two projectors. The XGIMI Halo Plus does a really good job with the background right here, where you can see the greens of the trees. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more to kind of show that. You can see that the tree has a spot of green in it, even though the background is supposed to be naturally blurred. Another area where this really shows off is right here, where the tree bark that's been peeled off is naturally orange, as you would expect in a freshly strucken tree. The snow itself is nice blue color, the way an iceberg would look when you look at the nice pictures of Antarctica, for example. When we go over to the WeMax Advanced Go 300, this spot right here, not really colorful. It's more of like a bland beige color at this point, not the bright orange that you see here. And the blue background doesn't pop quite as much. It's very dull. Very muted colors overall, and again does a really bad job of reducing the snow that the wolf is standing on. Very bad dynamic range compared to the XGIMI Halo Plus. Here's a really good example of its ability to produce color accuracy. The details in the horns, the fur, how everything is uniformed. There's not a lot of dark or white spots, and it's more of like a amber orange, brown fur with a really nice background where nothing's really clipping in the back. It's a nice uniform background color, as well as the actual detail in the snow itself. When we look at the WeMax Advanced Go, you can clearly see it is already clipping the background color right here. If I can point it out, see, nice uniform orange, very clipping white. The other thing is the fur itself. Although it does a good job of displaying the dark blotches, the actual color reproduction is completely off, in my opinion. And a lot of the detail tends to be lost in the horns, outside of the fact that they're just not the same color. This could be very much in the eye of the beholder in terms of the color, but I would kind of say that this color is very muted, whereas this pops and is way more pleasant. Here we have a nice little image of Japan, and again we can see very nice uniform green, makes it really pop, especially behind the background. You have more of like a bluish lake color, which I would argue whether or not that's the actual color that it's supposed to be. But when it comes to how pleasant it is to look at, the XGIMI Halo Plus does a really good job at giving you that, what some might call the Samsung effect of their OLED, or just their OLED TVs, without actually overblowing the colors way too much like Samsung usually does. For a projector, this is an amazing image considering the price that you can get it at. The XGIMI Halo Plus does a really good job at giving you the detail, preserving the detail, giving you the nice shadow balance. But the tree color and the lake effect is really not quite as poppy as it is with the XGIMI. For example, here it is here, and a lot more muted and more bland with the WeMax Go. Here's another good example of the XGIMI Halo Plus's ability to pull color. The trees and the forest around the castle itself, really good. Also, you can see a lot of like orange, amber. You can see the different layers of color. You can see the yellow and the orange inside the rock, as well as a really good reproduction of the sand right here, and just a really good mixture between the buildings and the trees. Everything just tends to pop and it looks very color accurate. Nothing is overblown at the same time. With the WeMax Advanced Go, you can see it does a good job at reproducing the details inside the actual bricks on top of the building, which I think actually might be doing it a much better job than the XGIMI is. Now that I look at it, it is a little sharper, but when it comes to image overall, the WeMax Advanced Go is a little more muted. You kind of tend to miss the difference in color right here on the building. It does look a lot more uniform, whereas with the XGIMI, you can see the difference where the bottom layer is a little bit more orange, where the top layer is a little bit more yellow. So that's a little bit of like a color detail that is missed out on the WeMax Advanced Go. And again, like before, the color is a little bit more muted compared to the XGIMI. Another point of contention that I have between the two projectors is their operating system. The XGIMI Halo Plus runs Android 9, I believe, as of the latest update. It is an older build of Android TV, but it does a really good job at keeping it the same. For example, I have a Sony LCD TV that runs an Android operating system, and it is by far very similar. I believe the Sony does have the newer version of Android, but despite that, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. It does a really good job. The remote is very responsive. You have your choice of customization. Some people are not a fan of Android TV. I happen to be, just because I am so immersed into the Android ecoverse. So for me, that is a huge, huge plus. The XGIMI Halo Plus, yeah, runs Android TV. It's pretty much what you would expect. The only thing it does not have support for is native Netflix. While it can install the app and it can play it, the difference is that it does not support Netflix HDR. That is something that you have to do separately through a dongle, which kind of, in my opinion, defeats the purpose of having a native Android operating system. But when we look at the WeMax Advanced Go, things are a lot more desperate, in my opinion. It runs Fang OS, which is a Chinese operating system. I just switched on screensaver for me. Give me 1 second. And if we take a look at it as I stand right in front of it, it is very limited. For example, if you attach something like a USB drive to it, it will do a really good job at um, actually reading the files and playing the video off of the files. Keep in mind that it does not support DTS audio. So if you have, let's say, a video file with DTS audio, it will not be able to play audio through its native speakers. The only workaround that I found is to simply play it off of your laptop and hook up your laptop with an HDMI cable to the projector. So the native OS on the actual projector is very, very limited. It has options to cast, but it's mainly mirror cast. There is no Chromecast or anything like that. And here in the US, pretty much nobody uses Mirrorcast. Bluetooth speaker, it has the option to be connected as a Bluetooth speaker. I don't understand why the speakers on the WeMax Go Advanced 300 are so bad. They'll do the job if you're in an office and you have like clicking noise or PowerPoint presentation. But when it comes to watching any type of media on these speakers, it is something that you would dread to do. They're just, it's a small 5-watt speaker. It sounds tinny. I don't know how else to describe it other than it's just really bad. You have your app store that you can pull up, and it uses AppToy TV. You can download your own apps from GetApp. You can download YouTube on the side as well, which is what I've been using. But for the most part, the apps are very limited. And just the overall experience on the WeMax Advanced Go 300 is just very limiting. And the only way I would ever use this is with a Chromecast dongle, Google TV now, or some type of a Fire Stick, something that outsources the actual media playback to another operating system, because this one just does not work. Here I wanted to give you an example of just how bad the speakers are, or how good or how adequate they are compared to your own opinion. In my own opinion, the WeMax Advanced Go has really tinny, really just not even average speakers. But it is a tiny package, so the fact that it even has speakers in the first place is an added bonus, I guess you might say. But here's an example of what it sounds like. I'm going to play both, play a video, pause it, and then start the other video where this one stopped, to kind of give you an idea of what the WeMax Advanced Go is and the XGIMI Halo Plus are capable of in terms of speakers. Here's the WeMax Advanced Go 300. All right. And then here we have the XGIMI Halo Plus. If you couldn't really tell that, well, in my opinion, the uh, WeMax Advanced Go 300 has very tinny, very quiet speakers. Actually, no, I'll amend that. They're not that quiet. They can get pretty loud, but they're very one-dimensional. Don't really have a lot of bass. It's all treble for the most part, and it is. I wouldn't. Let's just say I wouldn't go past half volume. What I played was about a third of the volume on both projectors. Anything more than half volume would just completely distort the sound and start introducing a lot of just rumbling and the noise that you really don't want to hear. It just literally physically hurts my ears. When it comes to the um, XGIMI Halo Plus, it does come with a dual set of Cardon speakers. Wow, that was bad. Harman Kardon speakers. There we go. Which actually do a really good job at reproducing sound as well as depth of sound, not just the highs and lows, but everywhere in between. It is very loud as well. For example, I would definitely use this as an outdoor projector, whereas the WeMax Advanced Go, I would have to have a separate set of speakers if I was planning on doing an outdoor movie projection. All right, guys, I wanted to give you kind of like a size comparison between the two. Here we have the WeMax Advanced Go 300 as well as the XGIMI Halo Plus. You can see the fact that the WeMax is even able to put comparable picture. It's not quite as vivid, it's not quite as dynamic or color accurate as the XGIMI, but the fact that it's able to keep up uh, is impressive in its own fact because of how small of a package this actually is. If you're into portability, if you're looking for an office projector, something that won't break the bank, but at the same time, you'll be able to just, in a way, put in your pocket or in your laptop bag, this is the way to go. It is super portable. It comes with a built-in battery. It has an HDMI in, a USB 2.0 port, an audio jack, and a USB-C port, which is used for charging. You cannot use it for data, at least not that I was able to. And keep in mind that if you think that you can just charge this using a regular battery bank with a USB-C cable, you're going to be in for a surprise because this will not actually charge the projector unless it outputs 65 watts worth of power, which I have a car starter which is able to output. Basically, it's able to jump my car should the battery die, and it is able to produce, I believe, anywhere. It's able to power my laptop easy, but it's not able to power this projector. For some reason, it just does not work. So keep this in mind that you will need to be pretty much using this with the cable attached and plugged in whenever possible. Because if you don't, you actually lose a lot of lumen lights. Currently, as it stands, it's about 600 lumens of brightness, ANSI lumens, that is. Without it plugged in, it drops down to about 300 lumens. So that's a big drop. I mean, you lose half the brightness. And in an office environment, that could make or break things. So, despite it having a battery and it able to run for about, I would say, an hour and 20 minutes to an hour and a half at max, um, if you're trying to display it in a very bright lit environment, this will not work very well. It is a laser projector, however, which is a very big plus in my eyes. Let's see if I can zoom in here and kind of give you an idea. Obviously, class 1 laser product. It does have a little built-in stand, which doesn't really do much, but I guess if you're trying to prop it up, it's okay. So yeah, that's the WeMax Advanced Go 300. When we take a look at the XGIMI Halo Plus, just overall, oh, I forgot to say, both projectors are very well built. This is made primarily out of plastic, but it's harder plastic with a metal mesh around it, whereas this is made entirely out of metal for the most part that I could tell. It's mainly metal. So I would say they almost weigh the same. Obviously, this is lighter. It has a smaller battery, but the actual metal case construction makes it a little bit heavier than you would expect. The XGIMI Halo Plus has nice little touch controls on the top for volume and play and pause. It has the little indication light. The projector in the front. It is an LED projector, not a laser projector. So that's one thing. If you're into lasers and you want that latest technology, this is probably going to be your best bet for under $1,000. It does have the auto keystone autofocus feature right here. So every time you turn it on, this does a phenomenal job at actually focusing the screen and making it as big as your screen can get, and keeping it straight and level. This, on the other hand, miserable. Setup is horrible, 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 horrible. I cannot say how bad of an experience this is out the box setting it up for a new projector. Unless this is a fixed location and you have it set to display almost around the edges of your screen, you will have an insanely frustrating time getting this to fit on your screen perfectly. So I do not recommend this if you're looking for being on the go, or just for a quick setup. I'd definitely go with this. The setup for this is extremely quick, and the keystone correction actually works, and it works really well. The keystone correction on the WeMax Advanced Go is just non-existent. I've tried it several times. I've tried reaching out to their support to see if it's just my unit or if they can send me a replacement unit. They're just not very good. Let's just leave it at that. It does have its own autofocus and supposedly auto keystone correction hole right here with a camera. So when you actually slide it out, you get the laser to start up and then the camera to focus. Unfortunately, it just, the autofocus does a good, it actually focuses quite well, but when it comes to keystone correction, horrible. You basically have to do manual keystone correction on this. And if the projector is not perfectly placed, you will have a really hard time getting it to fit on your image, on your screen. This, phenomenal. Could not recommend this more in terms of ease of use and quick setup. If you're planning on moving around, if you're planning on putting on a movie in the backyard after just setting up a projector screen, for like a campfire movie in the summer, this is just unbeatable. Could not recommend it more. Here, let's take a look at the back real quick. We have the DC in. It is a barrel connector, so that's one thing to consider. You've got your audio jack. You've got an HDMI 2.1, by the way. USB 2.0, as well as the power button. It's nice and ventilated for heat dissipation, and again, comes with those Harman Kardon speakers, which had a label here. There it is, Harman Kardon. And they don't disappoint, I'll tell you that much. I've used this as a projector to watch one of the latest movies in my living room. I just set up a portable projector screen and I set this up within 5 to 10 minutes, and we were watching a movie. And I didn't need a second set of speakers because the speakers on this thing are loud enough and very good quality to where I was able to actually watch and enjoy the movie in a fairly decent sized room. Um, Whereas this just completely fails with the speakers. The setup and ease of use are just so bad. I could not recommend this to really anyone other than somebody who's going to do office projection and is not planning on moving this projector at all once it's set up. But yeah, guys, hit me up in the comments if you have any questions. I'll take any comments at this point. Let me know which one you think is better. I'm always open to hearing other people's opinions or experiences with these two products. For me, I will be returning this product and keeping this one. I'll drop links in the description if you guys want to go ahead and purchase either one of these. I will have an affiliate link for this, mainly because I don't want to get an affiliate link for the WeMax Go. I just don't recommend this product, and I cannot in good conscience make any type of affiliate out of it. So as a result, I'll only keep an affiliate link for the XGIMI. So a little fair disclosure there. If you have any questions, like I said, let me know. Other than that, peace out, and hope to see you on the next one. Have a good one, guys.